welcome to another video, A Walk with Phil, and I'm in West Bromwich. And what we're going to do today, take you down Phoenix Street onto the Ryders Green estate, because all along there used to be there's a huge industrial base along there, and I thought what I'd do is have a look to see what industries we still got left along Phoenix Street and the Ryders Green area. Let's face it, back in the day it was a hive of activity. We would have nut and bolt manufacturers, chemical manufacturers, iron foundries, nut and bolt makers, nail makers, cabinet making, furniture making, all around these parts of West Bromwich, Phoenix Street, Ryders Green. So let's have a look and see what we can find along this old industrial area. Before we go down Phoenix Street, just a quick look over there. I know I've shown you this a couple of times as well. That was where the famous Swan Inn used to be. It's long gone now, very famous old pub. And over in the yonder would have been the West Bromwich Corporation gas works, one of the biggest suppliers of gas in Britain at one time. And if we look up there, that's Dudley Street, and it takes you to Carter's Green in West Bromwich. And ahead of me, if you go to the left, sort of just there, you're heading towards Great Bridge. So we'll start our journey along here in Phoenix Street. But what I'm particularly interested is to see what's actually left of any major industry along these parts. Anyway, let's just have a quick look first of all. There's John Street just over there with one of its original signs on the side of the house. We got a building here that used to be a pub, the Bird in Hand. I think it's had one or two uses after it was a pub. I don't know, was it a chip shop as well? But I think it might have been a sort of an antique shop as well, bric-a-brac shop. There's lots of these houses. There's lots of houses, terrace properties in particular, are dotted all around this very industrialised area. We've got Victoria Street just there on the right. This particular road, Phoenix Street, is still a very, very busy road. Again, we can just make out Victoria Street signage there on the side of the house. I used to come up and down this road many a time on my bike when I used to go to work at a company called JB&S Lees. And for the life of me, now I can't imagine what used to be on this side. I'm presuming it was industry of some kind, but now it's all brand new housing. We're on a road now called Irvine Avenue, leading to Anvil Walk and Dillier's Walk. So maybe those road names there have got some significance as to what would have been over here. Still lots of these 30s houses just there. Now here, these are newer. Here used to be the site of Phoenix Steel and Tube, I believe. I think they were a steel stockholding company. But they were there for a very long time, and I do believe they had another site in Dudley Street, but I do remember when I was a kid going along Dudley Street and seeing the word Phoenix lit up on the side of the building. There's Liberty Lane, which of course is now a new street, a new lane created for all these big housing estate they made. Some very old properties here to my left now, and we got Phoenix Local Express store just there. That's where I used to stop off on my bike to get the newspaper. before I get to work. So it goes to show how long that shop's been there, because I'm talking about the mid-1970s really. Just ahead of me, where that guy's doing a bit of painting, that used to be the George pub. Closed in, was it 2010 or something like that when it closed? It's now private flats. Just ahead of me there is a company called You Can Store It, self-storage. Again, a new road created, Carden Close, leading to Anvil Walk up there. And this, plenty of these days, car washes. This isn't just the normal hand car wash and wax. Believe it or not, this is a super hand car wash. Anyway, just here to my right, you can see this like phone mast ahead of me. But beyond these gates, I noticed when I was walking around here the other day that I noticed it's called the DVLA Pound, Driver and Vehicle Licensing Agency, and Wilson's Auctions next to it. We can see just here through the gates, there's nothing beyond this gate, just empty patch of land. Ahead of me, through the other metal gates, we can see a truck of some sort that looks as though it could probably take cars away. Yeah, just next to the DVLA Pound, there's this place called Sandwell College Engineering Centre. I remember it being called the Sandwell Training Association. It looks like it's something to do with Sandwell College, and it's got commercial and apprenticeship training. There are some workshops beyond the gates. I remember it being Sandwell Training Association. A lot of people would be sent here from job centres and such like to learn a bit of a trade on the machines. There used to be a few press machines here in these buildings. I wanted to have mentioned here that there was a guy called Ray who used to sell second-hand cars around here. I don't know if this was the place. I can't say that I remember that place, but at the moment, currently this is called the Midlands Auto Breakers Limited. It's one of these breakers yards. The building just opposite, the Robinson Brothers Chemical Works, is called the Universal Steel Profiles Limited. It originally was, I believe, an ironworks. It's now, it looks to me now like a kind of steel stockholders. But I think it was called the Stella Iron Foundry. And just here we've got Robinson's Brothers. This is probably the only original factory that I'm aware of along Phoenix Street that's been here since the early 1900s. It's Robinson Brothers. It was originally called the Ryders Green Tar Works, but this building was created by Charles Robinson and a partner. I know it's probably one of the leading chemical manufacturers in these parts anyway. We're going to be crossing a canal bridge called Hadley Bridge, and I'll just show you the Robinson Works. This is the Birmingham Canal that we'll be crossing. These canals back in the day would serve many industries around here, and in particular the industries that you found along Charles Street. Just looking along the Birmingham Canal, to the right is still part of the Stella Iron Foundry, and further back on the right, which is just beyond that, the mast that you can see just there, there would have been the Phoenix Iron Foundry. And to the left, where we got that, I don't know, sort of a green building. I believe that was the Staffordshire Edge Tool Works. Now, along Charles Street today, you've got lots of little industrial units, but there was some very famous industry down there once. Now I'm on Charles Street, just off Phoenix Street, and it was on the junction of Ryders Green Road. Here would have been a road here called Henry Street. It's more of an industrial road now, it's all been gated off. So it would have led, if you'd have carried on this road round the top, it would have led on to William Street. It's another street that no longer exists, and it would have gone down towards the Great Bridge area and turned left back onto Charles Street near the bottom. But here it was the Kingfisher estate, named after the famous Kingfisher furniture makers. We'd have had several large factories around this particular area of industry back in the day. Some of the buildings may still exist, but they're not what they once were. Some large buildings there to my left, which probably would have been part of the glass blowing works. Further on down Charles Street, down there would have been a bottle making business, and there was an Alexandra steel factory, metal factory right at the bottom of Charles Street. All along here where it's pallet making. Here would also be part of the automatic glass blowing works here. So yeah, we'd have glass making as well as one of the industries here in West Bromwich. Bottle making, glass making, it was all happening in Charles Street. Just here on the corner where the glass blowing factory would have been also, I think a lot of it's been demolished now. I think Robinson's offices were on here for a time before they got demolished, and then we got this pallet company now with loads and loads of pallets stacked up here on the corner. Kingfisher was at the back somewhere ahead of me, but don't know exactly where it is. But it was on this estate because the estate obviously is named after Kingfishers. They were world famous. Kingfishers were around for quite some time, but prior to it being called Kingfishers, it was called Fishers. It was set up by Benjamin Fishers. It was about 1820 when he first began, and he had businesses in places such as Paradise Street in West Bromwich, before moving to this area as Kingfisher in about 1910. And sadly they finally closed in 1977. But you'll know of Kingfisher furniture, particularly if, like me, you remember the old school desks. You would sit at your desk. There's usually a couple. It was a school desk side by side, so somebody was sat next to you, and there was two adjoining desks, and you can open your lid of the desk, and that's where you keep all your pen, your pencil, your writing books. On your desk there'd be this brass lid that you'd pull across, and underneath there'd be an inkwell, ceramic inkwell. You could just dip your pen into the ink and write away. And that's how you remember those desks, because they was made by Kingfisher. So all around here now, on this industrial area now, would have been, this is the kind of Ryders Green estate. Anyway, just here we got Ryders Green Road. Ryders Green, as I said, is not a particularly big area as such. It mainly covers industrial bases. But you can see how much industry there was around these parts, especially down those those three streets, Charles, William and Henry Street. That really was a big area for industry. But now when you go down there, there's breakers yards again. There's a lot of stuff down there that's related to cars. And here we go another bridge. You can see all these locks ahead, can't you? These are called the Ryders Green locks. It's all part of Ryders Green. And of course this was a famous pub, the 8 Locks. It's now closed down, of course. It's been turned into flats. Jack Judge was supposed to have composed It's a Long Way to Tipperary in this pub. You can just make out just above this window where it says a free house. That's the only clue as I can see now that this was once a pub. As we come over the Ryders Green Bridge, you'll see another industry to my left and to my right. It's the same company. It's called Tennant's Distribution. When I used to see that name, I used to think it was something to do with beer brewing. I didn't. It's another chemical plant actually. Here's Tennant's. And there's the other part of the company over there. Many a time you have to wait for the forklift truck to cross the road. They look like hangars, don't they, over there, where they keep aeroplanes. Alpha floor maintenance equipment. I wonder what used to be here on the corner of Tasker Street. Do you remember this as a paper recycling plant? Goodness knows where it was before then, but now it's office furniture specialist. We also do cardboard boxes and office furniture. Tasker Street is a sealed off road now, but just ahead of me, that used to be a road as well, but as you can see it's all gated off now. But we're way back, maybe right up until the 30s it could have been. It was called Wood Street. A lot of industry up there, probably factory units now. There's Devaney's Haulage Limited here. Yeah, I remember this place called Ford's, but it's had a fair few names over the years, this place. I'm just coming to the crossroads now of Whitehall Road to my right, which goes into Great Bridge, and Ryders Green Road, which will carry you into the main town of West Bromwich. There's a famous pub on the corner of the Union Cross. Just about there. It even had its own brewery at one time. Been closed a long time now. Just here we've got the Ryders Green Methodist Church on the corner of Ryders Green Road and Ryders Green Road. Yeah, there's been a chapel there since what, 1835, but it was replaced and rebuilt in 1873, and I believe that was our walk along Phoenix Street and Ryders Green Road. We took in a bit of the industrial areas of Charles Street, and yeah, and you can see there are still reminders of all the heavy industry that used to be in this area of West Bromwich. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. If you like the video, hit the like button, also hit subscribe and hit the notification bell for future videos, and I'll see you on the next one.